Yes. I think we're live already. Yep. So you're live. Yep. Okay, that's Buki. Thank you, Buki, for joining in. Naomi said she's on her way. So yeah.
I think what he's trying to say is, or what you are just saying, that we should also put it on when people are start leading. Is that possible? Can we assure that? Yeah.
So Miracle, I'll mute you. Okay, all right, yeah. So thank you guys for joining in. Zedeka, that's Buki though. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe that's the name for her new company or something. I don't know. Buki runs a media company. So she's a media expert. Yeah. Thank you, Buki, for joining in. Naomi will be joining in soon. But since Tochukwu is actually on his way, about to take a flight, let's just start with Tochukwu. Yeah. So Tochi, Tochi is a young entrepreneur like every one of us. He's a young professional. He does quite a lot. All right. So Tochi, just run us through the process, where you are now. The good times, the bad times. What are you grateful for? When was there a time where you were stuck and you knew you couldn't call anybody to help, but at least I don't know what happened, but something just happened and you were able to pull through?
Okay, so good afternoon all. I'll give a brief overview of myself and a little bit of myself. Yeah. My name is Tochukwu Ibe. I'm Nigerian. I'm Igbo. I grew up in Lagos, then moved over to Abuja. From the early part of my life. I'm a graduate of Economics and Development Studies, and currently I'm doing my master's in Management Information Systems in Bowie State University in America, in Maryland to be precise. And yeah, I'm from a family of 5. My dad, my mom, and I have 2 siblings, my sister and my brother. I'm the first son. And yes, pretty much. And so to the conversation, I'm also a DJ, just in case. And that's my business, and a DJ for weddings, baby showers, bridal ceremonies, any kind of event, to be honest. So that's my business, and I'm also in the IT field. So answering the question, things I'm grateful for. I know people we've had like a past 2 years, let's say 2020, and this year has been challenging for everybody. Given with the pandemic, the world, political power, NSAS, Black Lives Matter, everything, like both home and abroad. Like you can hear Israel and Palestine. So the world has been going through a lot. For me, personally, personally, so part of my most challenging year ever was last year. It was mind blowing. It was mind blowing. It was a total turnaround for me. It's something I was never prepared for. It wasn't a pandemic. It was me losing someone very dear to me.
Yeah,
and that was my dad. For me, that was really a total turnaround because I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how to even address the issues. I'm a growing young man, and I'm the first child. So, and if you're Igbo, you know that responsibility lies upon you. And I had to make some certain decisions. I had to, fight. It wasn't easy. At that point in time, it was just my family and God. I had to. At some point in time, I had to even I mean, there was a little bit of conflict between me and my siblings and my mom because they were pressurizing me, not knowing what I was going through. Because I was on ground, I had to go back to Nigeria to try and ascertain things for myself and see what the terrain was like. And when in Nigeria, as Africans, they're always, when someone dies, I don't know if it's not, when someone dies, problems begin to arise from different places. It's not just easy to, it's not as smooth as people will think it should be. Problems arise from different places, family problems, begin to, there's one party fighting the other party. And yeah, so I had to deal through all that. And it wasn't easy at all. It was only God that saw me through. Part of my I don't know if I don't know, bro, am I allowed to go into context and details?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it was really, really.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So I would just say so one thing actually my dad's first son. I went to Nigeria to go bury my dad, and my dad had siblings and people his family, he came from a family of 8 children, and there was this conflict. They didn't, I don't know if they didn't really, they were not really on good terms between my dad's siblings. So that's lingered. And you can imagine going back to Nigeria, leaving your school. I was doing my master at that point in time. So thank God things were held virtually. I went back to Nigeria to go pay my dad his last respect, and I was prevented from seeing my dad's corpse until the day he was buried. And it was something that never, I could not even imagine. I went 2 months before. They have their plans. They were against me, my sibling, and my mom. At that point, we prayed, we fasted, we cried. There was nothing. When sometimes God just, you have challenges that happen, and you feel like, God, are you really here? I felt like, okay, thoughts came to my mind. I had pressures from friends. I mean, I'll meet an uncle. My uncle was like, hey, when people start giving you bad advice, they say, well, but they call boys. And I was like, God, please speak to me. There's something, I mean, you get through that and you don't know what to even do. And I just feel like being human, you can only do what you can do in terms of, okay, you can't do more than yourself. You have to just pray, and whatever you feel like, whatever your power, whatever the will you have to carry out what you want to do, you can only do what you can do. You can't do more than yourself. And I prayed and I said, God, please, just guide me. Luckily, my mom trained us very well. So I mean, we're not hooligans. Even though we live in Surulere, if everybody knows Surulere in Lagos, that's where we usually we're really raised up in the bus stop. So where there were touts and area boys, where people were smoking in Ganhem and sort of things. But through the message of God, we didn't. Me and my siblings, none of us turned out to be that kind of way, because we were, right from time we were indebted into Christ. We grew up in the church, we served. I was in the choir, I was in the worship team, I played the instruments, and my siblings and my sister could sing. So we knew what God's plan for our life was. We were, as a family, my mom trained us to be aware of God's plan. And I always tell people, and I said this, I told my mom something. I said, Mom, continue.
So that's me.
Yeah,
That's
I told my mom. Yeah, okay. I told my mom, some people take this for granted, but being born and brought up in Christ is something people take for granted. I know people who have had to search for Christ by themselves. I mean, they've gone through a lot, but for me, for my siblings, it was easy. My mom was persecuted when she grew up. I mean, you can imagine when she gave her life to Christ and her parents threw her out of the house. They were like, "What is scripture in you?" This was back in the 80s or 90s. They persecuted her. She was the first person to get to be born again in the family of 9. And currently, all of them are Christians, all born again Christians. She was and when she tells us that story, I always connect with. I'm like, wow, you really did this. Her mom, they initially persecuted her when we need persecution for being born again. She was persecuted as a university child. And she tells us, see, this is what I went through. And she wants this for me and my siblings. And we told through that line, and it has been mercy. It has been God's grace, to be honest. Even from Lagos to Abuja, now to the US. It's not. The stories are so much. I mean, if I start, to be honest, I won't to stop. But then back to what I was saying, personally, my dad's burial. So then it was challenging for me. I could not talk to anybody. I didn't know who to trust. I didn't know who to rest, who to lay my hand, who to just lay my head on. Because I mean, people wanted expected more from me. So I was looking for somebody to also understand what I was going through. I needed someone to just be by my side and say, please, Tochukwu, make this decision, do this. This is what you should do. Because everything was challenging. And I called on to God, and God just says, Tochukwu, you know what? Bury your dad. These people they want to trigger you so that you do something you're not supposed to do. Because there's some battles where you fight, you are either fighting this battle for what it is or letting some things go. And I just heard that word, let it go. Let it go. You have your plan for your life, your siblings. Don't let these people trigger. Don't get into what you're not supposed to get into. And when I heard that, and when God told me that, because I was alone in the house in Abuja, I was in Nigeria for 2 months before my siblings came, and my mom came. And when God told me that, I told my mom, see, we just have to let some things go. These people, they want to show who they are for who they are, but we have to let some things go. And I told God, this is what I plan. This is what I want to do. And God said yes. And I let some things go. My mom came, my siblings came. When they came back to Nigeria, I wept. When I said I wept, I just seeing them alone. They understood what I was going through. They also wept. And I really understood what the importance of family was, because I'd never lost anybody that was so close to me like that. So when thinking about it now it's triggering, because that was pretty much the worst time of my life. I haven't been through anything like that before. So God came through for me. I mean, I called God. I mean, I had support from home and abroad, my pastors in Nigeria and also in America, brethren, people who come to show affection and companion, and we had support. People were praying for us, and that I also understood the real meaning of friendship and brotherhood. We had prayer support from home and abroad. People put us in our prayers, understood what we were going through, and eventually we laid my father to rest November 3rd, and next 3 months we're doing a 1-year memorial anniversary, and God has seen us through. It hasn't been easy, but my mom, God strengthened her. God strengthened us. We are all grateful. We are still alive. Nobody's coming of ill health and anything. So I just want to give God the glory.
Yeah. Thank you, Tochukwu. I was, I think that period there was one time we were joining too many. I think it was there were so many events at that time that we joined via Zoom. I think I saw you back home then when you went back. So yeah, I understand what you. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. But thank God everything went well. So Casey also, I don't know if Casey would allow me to say this. There was one event that happened. It was on national TV, even on CNN. That event happened close to Casey, where my Casey is my cousin. I'm gonna say it again because I'm proud of her. That's why I keep saying that. So there was an event that happened close to the house that really changed things. It actually changed the course of time for both the neighbors and every other. I don't know, Casey, you want to say, you understand what I'm saying, right? I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything concerning that, but
sure.
yeah, that time we were actually speaking at that time. Even though we're taking some things that happened as a joke, because basically Casey, you would not necessarily see Casey as someone that, even though she's going through something, you would not, she would joke with it, right? Even though it's serious, right? So we joked around that period, but I knew it wasn't really easy for her emotionally at the time. But she was able to coordinate herself, and while we talk and while we speak and while we laugh about certain things, she would, in that joke, say one or two things that was happening at the time, right? Both for her, the family, and the neighbors, right? So if Casey would, if it's okay, if she can, I don't know how I experienced that period, but if she can really, really be vulnerable for just one moment. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So Casey.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Kelechi. Tochukwu, sorry about your dad. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, we know how it can be. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet
Okay, so Obinna is referring to, I'm sure most of us heard about it, the explosion that happened at Abulado last year on the 15th of March. Yes. So while Obi was talking, I was already reflecting, on it, and I got misty for a bit. It's it was so I don't know. I think by the time, the next morning, let me start from the next morning. When I came back to the area, you know, what came to my mind was, God, may we never have war in Nigeria, because you'd never really understand what things are till really you've been through it. Most times you can only imagine. It's it was a very funny season, so to speak. It was one wonderful Sunday morning, and at about 9 a.m., I'm in church. Some of us were in church, and you hear this very massive, this crazy noise. Where I was in church, the ceilings were, and I was quite far from the house, so the ceilings had already fallen. In fact, I went to children's church that day to just sit for no reason, and there was a young girl just beside me. And as the ceiling was dropping, impulsively I just grabbed her out. So when everybody came out, we could see smoke. And a friend of mine said, I said, what's going on? And a friend of mine said, oh, I think it's because it's close to the Navy cantonment. Said, a bomb must have gone off somehow. I said, oh, really? What kind of bomb is this? They've come again, And I thought of Ikeja bomb blast back then. I was quite far, but yeah, that was another crazy one. So it was so funny to me that the next few minutes, maybe in the next 1 minute, I'd gotten a call. My phone started ringing, and I'm wondering what's going on. What's going on? And colleagues are saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Okay, that's when I knew there was a problem. And I actually heard from my colleague that it happened close to my house. So you can imagine. I knew my mom was home at the time preparing for a baby dedication service of one of my neighbors. I knew I had my cousin at home. My dad was at home. So imagine if the buzz became extra. I was calling my mom, she was not available. I was trying to reach anybody I could. My father's number wasn't going through. My sister, I couldn't reach her. Everybody I knew was at home at the time I left. So the confusion was crazy. We managed to get to the bus stop, and the fire I saw was, oh my God, it was really scary. For a bit, I was able to reach my brother, who said, oh, he called my mom and she was screaming, the fire is coming close to the house, the fire is close, because it happened just so close to the house. She was like, it's coming close, it's coming close. She was just really confused, and you hear this person shouting, leave the house. And it was just, I don't know. So talking, I just think of so much. My friend slept over the night before. She was supposed to go that night. And I said, no, just stay a little more. I thank God she refused, because where my bed was, the burglary and everything, it would have landed right on her. And she was even dealing with cancer at the time. So I was wondering, what was I going to tell her husband? You know, there was blood everywhere. For us to have got to get home, we took one very long route, and then you're seeing the Bethlehem girls, the secondary school they've demolished right now. You never think there was a school there. You see the girls jumping from fences, carrying them over. You're seeing blood over their body. You're seeing a child with, blood all over his face, rubbles and different things had fallen on him. I tried to pick up, at the point I was so tired, I tried to pick up something to sit on, and it was bloody everywhere. My neighbor, whose baby dedication my mom was going to, it was so funny, they just got out of the house. He was going to just pick something, and that was it. He had a block smack. It was really nasty. His head, his arms. So I don't know. It was quite, it was a gory evening. You see a car with people you have known for years, people you have meetings with, people you have end of the year parties with, and you hear a whole family is gone. You see someone, so there was this couple whose picture was trending here and there. So the guy is somebody we have known since he was single. We're all on the same street, we'll just, we'll laugh together. And whether when he got married, we'll see his wife, we'll just, and the next second, they're gone. So it was like, you're wondering who else is left. And you can't even be in your house, because the whole house was something else. The burglary, the roof, were roofless. There was everything on the mind of people was just run, just run, just run, just run, just run. And as you're running, you're having different, very ugly, terrible sights. Yeah. We were just like refugees. It's like, I'm just giving the summary, because there were a whole lot of those with their arms cut off. It was really, really terrible. But I thank God in all of it. Like Obi said, I would look for reason to cheer myself up. And there's nothing like having a good support system. Yeah. God, every day I would say, God, I don't know how you're going to sort this, but I know you know what you're doing. From that night, we had to just go to a hotel. My mom was looking like she was in limbo. My dad was looking like he was trying to hold it all together. My older siblings were not around. So I had to, try to get everybody together. My sister had to go and sleep somewhere. Like we literally just scattered all over the place. So I don't know, but it was just God all the way. It was just God all the way. How we got to rebuilding, how we got to re-roofing. For over 6 months, whenever I come out, maybe you're going to the bus stop, it was really strange. And there was that thought of, in fact, it looked like we needed therapy at some point, So for every time we had to shake ourselves up, like, look, this has happened. We can't get through this. We can't get through this. I would privately try to deal with mine. Why I come to be the ginger in the house. Come on, come on, come on. See, God will sort us out. And I always go back and say, God, you better sort us out, because I don't know where we're going to start from. And of course, vendors are not having mercy on you. They're having a field day. Whoever makes roofs is happy. Hey, this is awesome. I'm sure whoever was selling coffin at the time is saying, he has hit a jackpot, Yeah. You see the carpenter, they were just available, collecting deals here and there. Nobody cares that something happened to your house or somebody died. And there is the government saying for you to rebuild, you have to pay this, you have to check your house, you have to, and the kind of money they're asking you to pay, you're wondering, are you not in Lagos? Did you not hear? Do I talk about the parts where you have people promising, and promising? Last year, we had a remembrance for those that died. We're listing out names. It was quite emotional, And funny enough, there were people by the side who felt, okay, so you people don't need money now. Should be government gave you millions of naira? And I would just laugh. But God is so faithful. I was reminded that God will always send somebody, no matter what. I kept looking for scriptures to hold on to. I kept looking for what to console myself with. Okay, God, you never said I'll go through fire. Yeah, you just said you hold our hands while we go through it. Okay, I know you will not bring to us what we can't handle. Sometimes in cases like this, it's sometimes you don't even have reason to encourage yourself. Yeah, but you just have to hold on there. And when I don't know what to say, when it looks like, oh God, I'm trying not to doubt, I just say, you know what? I know you know what you're doing. And yes, God came through. So it's been a year, March, April, May, June. It's been a year and over 2 months. It's looking like, oh, people have moved on. Everybody has moved on. Yeah, there's still that scar there, but I mean, it's another lesson, it's another reminder that no matter what, it might look so dark, but eventually, there'll be lights. I mean, God will always come through. God will always come through. I had so much support financially and otherwise. I have people saying, come, do you need clothes? Do you need this? Do you need that? Even people that you don't, on a good day, people don't even have a conversation. Yeah. So it was quite a trying period, I tell you. But thank God. Yeah.
Yeah. When you said that we never experienced war, like what's happening in the eastern part of Nigeria now, where so many unrest and stuff. So I pray for the eastern part of Nigeria at the time, though. And on a lighter note, just to bring jokes, there's this other cousin, Casey Bishop. Like every time I meet him, you'll be like, "Oh, I'm watching TU Experience every weekend." Nice, you guys did a good thing. So yeah, shout out to Bishop wherever he is at the time. All right, so on a lighter note, let's just shake it off and yeah. Buki is the one that has Zedeka. I don't know if that's a new company, but yeah, that's Buki's handle there. Buki was my fellowship leader when I was back home in Nigeria for I think she was my fellowship leader for 2 years or something, right? And there's this thing she organizes every 6 months or so. I don't know, Buki, if I've forgotten, where you organize stuff for mothers and all. You buy food stuff and stuff and that, just to share to them and all that within the neighborhood. So in terms of management, Buki, I think there were a period where donations were not coming in. How did you manage that period?
Okay, my name is Adesanwo Oluwabukunola. I stay in Lagos, Nigeria here. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. The program is still ongoing. It holds every year. And that's the name of the organization. It's called Zedeka. So I'm practically using the phone of Zedeka to do a live show. The program holds every year. And it's for widows and widowers, then less privileged to some extent, and elderly people. And it holds every February 14th. We held the last one, we did the recent one this February 2021. And by God's grace, we were able to do it in 2 locations this year. And this year was very, very, I wouldn't say it was difficult. I would say it's very, very funny.
Yeah. Yeah, you're fine.
I think she's having a challenge with her network.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why the Zoom went off. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the network.
Zoom just probably went off anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, and reconnected back by itself. This year, like I said, I won't say it was very difficult, but it was very, very funny because most of the time, practically most of the funds comes from me for the program. But this year, it was a very wonderful one because I really didn't have any finance at hand at all. And I keep sharing the testimony over and over and over how God came through. I would say I came into 2021 with, let me just say, 420 naira. That's like $1 or half a dollar, or I don't know how much a dollar is. And the program owns February 14th. So I literally had one organization and everything. And people kept calling, how are you going to do your program? Have you bought things? And this time around, we were looking at 500 people to give food items to us against 100 people. So we had I was just trying to figure it out that okay, and since the price of food items had skyrocketed like times 3 of the initial amount. So if like maybe 50,000 or 100,000 to get maybe 4 or 5 bags of rice, you can practically say it's going to get you like 2 as a then, like maybe 2 now, and now you're looking at 500 people to give different food items to in 2 different locations. And I just kept receiving phone calls, and people that were called together organizing the program kept calling, we have not bought this, we haven't bought that, we haven't done this, where are we using, how many bags of rice, beans, gari, granite oil, and things like that. We haven't bought anything. And I kept smiling and laughing. And they are wondering, are you sick or are you high on cheap drugs? How can you be laughing? You started this program, well, we can as well leave you alone to do whatever it is you want to do. And I kept telling them, you people should please kindly relax. I'm not the visionary, I'm just a channel. So let's wait for the visionary to handle his program. And a week to the program, let's say 3 weeks to the program, someone called me and said, oh, I remember you usually hold the program every year. I said yes. He said, oh, we were about to give food items out to people, but because of one reason or the other, we were unable to. Please, could you come around to get the food items? We are not giving them again, and we feel you are in a better position to do the managing of the food items. And I was shocked when I got to the store of the person or the organization, and all I was looking for was right there. Yes, it didn't meet up to the 500, but at least I could see like for like 350 people. And I was like, wow, I didn't buy any of these things. I didn't pay for any of these things. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing food items for close to 300. And if I remember the figures well, it was 319. I was like, wow, this is more of going around getting few things for the program. Someone just called again. I remember you usually do a program every year. I said yes. He said, Alpha, what is your budget? I said, my budget is 3 million plus. He said, how much do you have? I said, honestly speaking, I have 420 naira. He said, so how are you going to do it? The program is like 3 weeks. And I said, well, the program holds every year. We cannot shift it because we don't have money. Some way, somehow, something is going to happen. And then the person said, okay, don't worry. Then let's see what we can do. And then I started receiving, I just started receiving alerts. As in, I was not receiving alerts in small funds like I usually do. Before, you get somebody sends you 10,000 naira, somebody sends 5,000 for this. But this time around, I was receiving funds in large quantities. And I was like, wow, these funds, they are hitting me real big. And at the end of the day, I had more than enough to feed not just 500 widows and widowers. I extended it to other people, like the elderly people in the environment. Like there's a place in my area where there are people they call the let me use the term, the Awusas, the young men that gather around together and probably just stay one place. And I was shocked when I was able to at least give them as a group almost like 100 bags of food items. And I was shocked that I've really not spent anything. I've not used any of my money. I'm just running here, trying to organize program here and there. And the way things came through, the way God really showed up for this year precisely. He has always showed up every other years, but this one I never cease to share the testimony whenever I have the opportunity to. That's the name of the organization is called Zideka, and we feed widows and widowers less privileged. And based on what God did today, this year, we were supposed to start last year for vocational training and back to school. Vocational training, as it implies, where you train people, then back to school. We are supposed to scout for different schools and probably just renovate the school or give them school parks for different students and this thing. And I'm amazed how that is also coming up. And the funds, it's not like the funds is complete, but at least it's there. And I'm really not afraid anymore. Anything can happen. I'm definitely not afraid anymore because God really showed up for this one, and it was very obvious that I'm not just running an empty vision, that I have God backing me up seriously and big time for this, because I don't have funds in my account, and then I'm here helping other people meet their own needs. So it's a huge deal. And God is always reassuring you that I'm available for you. I'm here to carry you through every step of the way. And He's not always showing only in the area of the vision He has given. He keeps showing up also in terms of in professional aspects. I'm into photography and cinematography. The way He shows up in such areas too, the way He shows up in it's always wonderful when God shows up for you, and when we make God the last result for certain things, and the way He shows up. Zideka is a wonderful thing, and I'm so grateful to God for always showing up one way or the other. I think that's the best way I can wrap what He has done briefly this year, because He's still doing so many things.
Yeah, that's wonderful, man. What you're doing, I left home I think 5 years ago. We've been doing it before I left. So I think we met.
Yeah, this 6th edition.
Yeah, I think we met. I think the first time we saw was 7 years ago. That was at Daystar when I moved down to that area. So I mean, that was how I met Buki. She was the fellowship leader then. So I think that was where the idea was incubated. And she started it, I think, the next year. And up to now, she's still doing it. So yeah. Thank you, Buki, for sharing that. So Naomy Rodrigues, yeah, thank you so much for joining. I'm so glad you came in. Thank you for the other time when you and Irene joined, and thank you for this, for joining now. So Naomy is actually an entrepreneur. She's a professional I'll let her talk a bit more about herself, but I wanted her to talk about her entrepreneurial journey, where she is now and how she's headed. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Obina. I've just been so blessed to hear your stories here.
Yeah.
And man, it's, everything that you guys have said, starting from our friend that we're sharing about his father and how his mom told him at one point, sometimes you just got to let go. And this morning, actually, reading the devotional, he was talking about resilience and persistence. And yet it said, there's only so much or so many things you can be persistent about. There's sometimes you just have to let go. Because sometimes we think, the definition of resilience is keep going and don't stop. But sometimes you just have to stop, take a step back, regroup, and then come back even stronger. So thank you for sharing that. And another comment your cousin was sharing as well that I liked was the core system that we have to have. When you have that core, I was speaking with a great composer, Stacey Gibbs. We really appreciate him. We're singing one of his songs now for one of our choirs. And he was saying, nobody succeeds alone. You always need that group of people that you can rely, people that have your back, because, Proverbs talk about this, 2 is better than 1. So there's wisdom in multitude of counsel. So sometimes we think, oh, it's my vision and I have to go forth with it. But our sister here that just shared about her organization, she said, we're just the vessel. The visionary is really God. So talking now about my journey, it's interesting to see how sometimes we get so caught up in the vision that God gives us. And the minute that we find a turn that we had not expected, because sometimes, God just lays it out for you and you're like, I like this vision, God, let's go with it. But we have not seen the whole thing. Maybe you just saw the first 5 steps. And the minute that something new is introduced, maybe it's not new though, because we think it's new because we didn't see it, but God already knew that that's what he intended from the start. And then we get so confused, like, wait a minute, God, I don't know if this is the vision anymore. But God is like, no, this is exactly what I need you to be working on. And, I am originally from Cape Verde Islands, northwestern coast of Africa. I don't know if you guys here know Cape Verde. I know it's so small, but it's there. It's there. And, coming from a country that speaks Portuguese, coming to America, I sound like Ed Murphy now. Every time I say that, I'm like Ed Murphy. Coming to America, I was like, God, I don't know how this is going to happen. I don't even speak English. Like back home, I thought I spoke English because, nobody really speaks English. We all speak Portuguese and Creole. And then when we would meet people that spoke English, I would say 2 phrases. They would be like, wow, you speak English. But then coming here, my 2 phrases weren't enough. So I had to really, apply myself. So I graduated from Tacoma Academy, and then I went to Washington Adventist University. And now I am on hold, those turns in your path that you don't see. But the intent is to pursue my postgraduate degree. But I am trusting God with this because I'm in a place right now where I didn't see happening. So I'm just letting him lead at this point. And like Obina shared, I'm an entrepreneur myself. And it's so funny. This is actually one of the few moments I get to say this about myself, because I never saw me as a businesswoman, I always do ministry. This is me and my mom. We always joke about this, that we're social workers. We give things for free. We just love to give and not necessarily receive. But, growth calls you to be in places where sometimes you don't feel comfortable in. That's how growth happens. And these business ventures that I've been doing, one has to do with energy, helping people save energy in their residences, their homes. And the other one is called, and there's a lot of benefits that they get from that. Very cheap rates, solar, they could do solar as well, helping the planet, all those. And a second one is with health. And I am very much passionate about health. And currently I am assisting somebody who's going through, they're battling cancer. They're thriving, they have been a survivor in the past, but it came back. So helping somebody in that state of their lives has opened my eyes to see how fortunate we are and how much we take for granted our health and our well-being. And one thing that I'm learning now is that the fact that what we eat or the habits we have, the fact that they don't affect us immediately, it doesn't mean that they're not harming us at all. It's just very slowly building itself up until your body cannot take anymore. Because our bodies, God created us in a way that we can really, we can rejuvenate ourselves. We can, the word I'm looking for, it's not rejuvenate necessarily, but our bodies, they recuperate in a way that it's so beautiful. We have a cut, the cells, they come back, we heal. So we have that even internally. We have an ability of healing, but there's only so much healing that your body can do until it gives in. So the best thing we could do is cooperate with our body. So I'm working with, like I said, another organization, and helping people stay healthy. And, it's just not consuming healthy things or taking protein shakes or, all these different things that you can do to enhance, to help your body function better, but also you being the active participant in exercising, sleeping early. Come on now, can I get a witness? A choir right here, sleeping early, my Jesus, waking up early, all those things that we don't pay attention to. Building up. And now we're young. I think all of us here in this call, I can say this confidently. We are young. We don't feel it. But a couple of years from now, we're not going to be as resilient as we're right now. That's when things will really start to show. And then we wonder, why is it that I'm at 40 and I have knee pain, back pain, all these aches? Because we didn't take care of ourselves now. And then we're trying to take care of ourselves when we get later in life. And then our body's like, yeah, I'm trying to help you too, but you didn't help me then. So there's only so much I can do at this point. So, really capitalizing on that. And I have been very passionate about these things. And the only reason, like I was telling you guys, I don't consider myself a businesswoman, but the fact that these things appeal to me in the sense that I'm helping people, that's how I see it. And, Solomon talks about this: for everything there's a season. For everything, there's a season under the sun. There's a time for, a time to cry, a time to laugh. And I love how you were telling us about your cousin. I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Kelechi.
Yep.
Yes. And you were saying how even in your time of sorrow, you found the silver lining and the rainbow. And that is so beautiful. I remember this one time, kind of like a similar story. Of course, it doesn't compare to yours, because this is, when I was listening to this, I was like, wow, this is unimaginable. Like you said, everything was normal. And then the next second, you have to now grapple your mind around what just happened. And then people have perhaps moved on, but that for you, you're counting. I like how you said, oh, it was a year ago and 2 months. So that shows that, it's still very imprinted in your mind. It's still very present. It's not something you're like, oh, when did this happen again? It's still very present. So it's a good step that you have acknowledged that. But the story I was going to share is, and for me, this is how I know the difference, because I don't even know what year he was. He was a couple of years ago. But my family and I, we're all international students here, and we were looking for a place to live. And, in the United States, applying for to rent an apartment is kind of like applying to college, or I don't know what it is. There's all this paperwork you have to do, credit, all these different things, like, oh my goodness. And back home, that's something so easy. You just go and you talk to the owner of the place, like, I want to rent, how much, figure out the details. But here, there's a whole process that you have to go through. And, we went through all the process, and we felt like God was in it with us throughout the whole process. And what the turn in the path that came that we were not expecting was after we went through all the steps, including interviews, the people called us back and they said, we're sorry, but we're not going to give you the apartment. And we were so confused, because we were like, wait a minute, we had everything, checked every box, like everything was right. So why is it that we did not get the apartment? And, the place that we wanted was on the first level. We thought about everything, because if we came home with the groceries, you don't have to come up the stairs, it's just like right there. It was nearby the street as well. We walk a lot, going to school, to church, and we walk everywhere here. So it was like, man, what is going on? All of a sudden, it felt like the God that was leading us through this path of pursuing this, all of a sudden, just let go of us. And now we're like, God, what's happening? But interestingly enough, I don't remember how much time had passed, but let's say a week passed. And my dad, he was working here at the university at the time. And it's just God. I don't even know how to say that this happened. It was just God. And it so happened that we got not an apartment, but actually a house. We were able to rent a house to stay at. And I was like, oh my goodness, God, this is so beautiful. But that's not the end of the story, you guys. A week later, like I said, I heard on the news that an apartment complex in the neighborhood had exploded. And, I was startled by this. I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. And some people were injured. I don't think there were many fatalities, maybe one person or two. I can't remember, honestly. But many people were injured, and just the devastation of losing your home and being misplaced and now having to find a new way of surviving while things get sorted out. And, many of those people, I believe that they're still recovering till this day, because it's something that really messes with you per se. So hearing of the news, I was like startled just by the fact that there was an explosion in apartment complex. But then I was going to the store, and then I got curious to see, where did it happen? And to my surprise, I even have goosebumps right now as I speak about this. As I was walking, I realized that it was at the exact place that my family was trying to rent to live. And I could not believe it. And guys, when I looked at the pictures, when I looked at the sites of it, because it was blocked off, you could only go so close. That very place where we wanted to leave, you could not even point to where it was.
Okay, I'm having goosebumps now.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm telling you, it was not there. And when we got home, my family, we looked at each other, and it's like, you don't even know what to say to each other. You're like, wow. So sometimes, guys, we think we know best. We get frustrated with God, like, God, that's exactly what I want to give it to me. But no, trust him. You don't want it. If he says you don't need it, you don't need it. If he says you don't want it, you don't want it. It doesn't matter how beautiful it looks like. It doesn't matter how perfect it seems. God, the timing is so right. It's not. Because we could not have that. Imagine now, international students here, and not to say that, oh, the other people, they'll be fine, but God, like Kelechi said, God will never bring something to you that you're not able to handle. Yeah. And at that time, me and my family we're new to this country, international students, we don't even have family in this area. Our families are somewhere else. So it's like, how are you gonna, a week into moving to this new place, imagine, and then the thing explodes. And then God knows if we would have been home at that time, all students were probably trying to study or do something. We never know what could have happened. So when I look at the situation, of course, my heart goes out to the people that had the disaster happen to them. But at the same time, it just opened my eyes to like, girl, you just gotta step, because the enemy, every single moment, like right now as we speak, if he could just, have us all gone, he would. But thank God, Jesus, come on now, we have a strong God. So let's not get discouraged by what the enemy can do, but we know what our God can do, will do, and is doing right now in our lives.
Yeah.
So, let's continue. Yes. Oh, go ahead. Are you trying to?
No. It's you. Go on.
Oh, yes. So, this is the moments that we're living. The world, we don't have much time to just, be just, mindless about what we're doing. We have to be very intentional, because Jesus is coming back again. And it's just so beautiful to hear your stories, you guys. And I hope, this serves as, and somebody that's watching too, I hope this serves as an encouragement to you, because even when it feels like God is not there, that he went back on his promise, no, you just didn't see the step. It's you, it's not him. In a relationship, sometimes people say it's me, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
But with God, literally, it's not him, it's you, it's us. So let's keep that in our minds.
Yeah. Thank you, Naomi. Yeah, I said it the last time Naomi joined. I met Naomi in the video shoot. It was Irene's video shoot. So I walked up to Naomi and I said, "Oh, are you Irene?" And she was like, "No, I'm not Irene." And that was how we got talking up to today. So thank you so much, Naomi.
Yes.
It's always nice to hear your voice, though. Always nice. You give it straight. So thank you so much for that. Miracle, there was a friend that introduced me to Miracle. Miracle wears so many hats. She's a musician, she's a professional, she's an entrepreneur. Adala introduced herself. I think, Miracle, are you still in the meeting? So I met Miracle in her own.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. Well, thank God we are rounding up here. So yes. Good afternoon, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's a great experience to be here.
Yeah. So Miracle, I met her in her own video shoot. A friend introduced me to her. And that was how, I mean, so many creatives like Naomi, Miracle, Buki, Casey, I don't know if Casey sings now though, but I mean, but yeah. so that was how, yeah. So me and Miracle we exchanged ideas in terms of creativity and all. There was even what this song that actually brought up this whole program. I was telling her that I'm going to do the reggae version with her at some point. So yeah, so and she laughed about it. But Miracle, in terms of your, in terms of your wearing so many hats, I will leave the introductions to use for you to say. But in terms of your juggling so many things, because even a few days ago when we spoke, before your last video shoot, you also revealed something to me that you also do, right? I didn't even know that you were into that because I mean you were doing this, that. I was wondering how you understand. So how,
a little bit every year and there.
yeah. So how do you as a woman, right? As a young woman, how do you manage at that moment where it hits your head and you will be like, because you were telling me that that sometimes you get stressed, you drove 4 hours from where you were to go check something else. So how do you manage all that at some point you wanting to give up in terms of, can I just let these things go and so that I can have my life in peace? How do you manage moments like that? That's after you introduce yourself though. I mean, telling people who you are. Yeah.
Right. Okay, hi guys.
Hi.
Well, my name is Miracle Banks. Well, I don't know how to explain. I would say I have business. I still study, as you can see, and we do every little bit here and there, like we're opening up explained. It's really great, Azu. Like they used to say that it will look crazy. Okay, it will look crazy but you can't let that hold you back. It has to look crazy so that you could, because driving 5 hours, like you said, doing this, doing that, I mean, all together, I don't know. Sometimes I think about it. Sometimes I'm like, I mean, do I really need to do this? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I ask myself. I hope I've introduced myself a little bit, though. Like I said, I'm Miracle, and I don't know what else to say. I have one son, and I'm in the military as well. It's tough because I have to report to the base, every once in a while during the weeks, and pretty much. I stay in Pennsylvania. I go back and forth. I go to Maryland too, because I'm into real estate business as well. And, it's like everywhere. I have to be everywhere because some sites I have to go there and see, because some sites I bought them like really, 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 really cheap. And then you have to rehab the house in a way that it will look nice. You know what I mean? So, I travel everywhere. Pretty much I hope I explain a little bit about myself before I jump to another thing. So, like you said, how do I handle everything? How do I cope? How do I not give up? How do I not relent? How do I not stop? How do I not, think about, okay. I mean, I just felt like, well, first of all, passion people makes us, to want to do things that might sound impossible. Passion pushes us to a limit, not to a limit, but to react the God-given ability that we have. So I feel like it's behind everything. The passion for me is there. The passion to do business, the passion to sing, to be a musician, the passion to be a loving person to people, the passion to be in the military, the passion to do so many other stuff that I can't even still tell you guys that I still do. The passion is there. Like I said, it's the passion. It's the passion. I look at myself and I said, do I need to do this? Going back to what I said earlier. Well, when I ask myself that, and that usually brings me to the state of depression, That's why I still ask myself, but then at one point I stopped asking myself. I just do it. I have to do it. If it's my passion to do so many stuff like this, so many life-changing things. And I always remember that. I always put at the back of my mind that doing all these things, even I'm in the medical field as well. I mean, it's more like you're helping people, you're changing people's lives too. We as a minister, we as a musician, we are changing people's lives with our messages. We are not just singing. We are not just out there for, let me just sing it because I want to sing it because I know how to sing or something. No. I mean, that's why it's part of the things that I do that makes it looks like, how do you do these things? But when I remember the fact that I'm changing people's lives with my messages, it gives me the strength to keep going. It gives me the passion to keep burning. It's like, okay, you are, apart from being a musician, passing messages across to people. If you are a business person, a business owner, trust me, you're changing people's lives too. It's still all the same. It still all comes in as a one body, because that business, believe me, it's not because you're just making money on it. You might think you're just making money on it, fine, but in reality, people are also benefiting from what you're doing. People are benefiting from that business. They are gaining things, because if they are not gaining, they won't patronize you.
Mm-hmm.
They won't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like that too. So even on my military as well. Okay, I'm changing people's life. I mean, I'm touching people's life. You know how many people during the COVID-19, I was out there helping people. I came across so many. With my own sight, I experienced over 68 people died in front of me. It was terrifying because, but before majority of them died, I actually had the opportunity to help. I had the opportunity to provide ventilator machine, all of the things that could hold people's lives to still live. I was there. So I put myself in the spot that, what if I wasn't doing this? At one point, it was so much blessing to the hospital that they actually deployed me to work for COVID. At one point, it was so much blessing that they were like, because there will always be one spot left for just that one person to actually be the person there. So if it wasn't there as a miracle, like I'm talking about, like, okay, miracle wasn't there. Everybody has their name. The Obina is not there. This is not there. Like, there is always that gap. There's always that space left out. If you're actually not at that spot that you're needed at that point. So, me going back, telling you about how people died right in front of me, like with my own eyes, it's like a nightmare. But I look back and I remember, and I'm happy that I'm able to be there to help. I'm able to be there to, I mean, out of the 68 people that died back then, I know that definitely over like, let's say 105 people at the floor at that hospital, at least, I mean, majority lived, and majority that still lives is still, I'm still part of, how helping them, getting breathing and getting on their feet and all of that. So if I put myself in that spot, if I wasn't there at that time, and if I wasn't, I remember vividly that there was a time that, somebody was actually going into coma, and like, it was just like four people there, and they still needed some hands to join them, like extra 2, 3, 4, 5 hands. You understand? So that's when I came in. I was able to be there. I was able to be part of that. And I was happy to be able to help, to be able to revive people. I was happy to be able to change lives. And it's so much joy in my heart that, what if I wasn't doing that? This life is not defined for the purpose of just one thing. If you are able to do 10 things, okay, forget about the word that they say, you cannot put 3 things inside one. Somebody give me that. If somebody can mention that analog or whatever that is called. Like they used to say, you cannot put your 4 hands into one. You cannot kill 3 birds at one. Or however they say that. But in this case, I just felt like life is not defined for the purpose of one thing. If you are able to get out there, if you are able to get out there and do more than 10 things that will change lives, that will create legacy, do it. Go for it. Go for it. If you are able to do all of those, and you understand, and you have the passion to do it. Because it is not what you do right now that actually will be. It is what you do afterwards. Because everybody is gonna grow up. We're all gonna grow up. This life is one, and this life doesn't go forever, like we all know. So creating that legacy is a big deal. It really is a big deal. And, just managing, it will sound crazy. It will definitely sound crazy to be doing everything together at one time. Especially I haven't even had you having families, having to cater for people, for your family, for having homes, like marriage, you know what I mean? I mean, all of that too. So you just have to do it. You have to do it. And that's how we can create our legacy. That's how we can keep moving on. That's how we can also keep feeding our mental status.
Yeah.
Okay. We have to engage our brain. Brain activities have to be engaged with, because if one time, I remember myself one time, I actually went through a really, really great depression stage. And I, at that point, I was like I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to, this is my whole life story. I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to do nothing. I was really, really, I was like, everything just became, so tight and for me, and hectic for me, because I'm like, I have so much. Oh my God. I just became down. And even to go to walk, to crawl into the kitchen to cook for myself alone was like a great hassle. I'm telling you. But the reason behind it is because I gave up at that. At one point, you would agree with me that majority of us, gave up in our mind. At one point, we gave up in our mind. But, that point, I now got up. I said, you know what? Let me engage my brain activity. And then I started, I'm now, I'm just switching to, the psychology part of life. If we engage our brain activity every single time, I'm telling you, the flow, the hormones that flows, that the happy hormones, the passion hormones, because every little bit of a thing has their own hormones in our body system, in our brain. So those they will fall into places. The activities will work, and we'll be able to keep moving. We'll be able to keep doing what we don't even think that we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So anyway, it will help our mental status, because having a good and an healthy mental status, it helps. It's a necessity. It's a must. So that's pretty much, that's how I'm able to capture all this life I would say turbulence all together, and then doing things, because I just have to keep myself engaged. I have to. We have to survive by doing that as well. If not, the depression stage would be forever. It will be a stigma, and it will be there forever. That's why people go into mental state, because they don't engage. You will see in this country, America, majority of people, they don't do nothing. They don't walk. They don't want to do anything and all that. The moment you start having that kind of mindset of not doing things just because, you haven't achieved one thing and then you're going into another thing, you just do it. Just do it. But the moment you start doing that, that's when you see them. Most of them are on disability, and majority of them are going into mental depression stage. But we don't want that to happen. We just gotta keep, engaging ourselves and, bringing everything to life. Because another thing is to have a dream. Another thing is to have a vision. Another thing is to have a passion. But the other thing is to actually bring it to life. And that's how if we bring everything to life, if it's music that you love, bring it to life. Work on it every day. Don't just dream about it. Don't just think about it. We have to just bring it to life. And bringing it to life will put us into the stage of achievement. The goal is to keep. Don't forget though, the goal is to keep reaching out to people, changing lives, and being the best that you could be. Creating your legacy. Those are very important to me, and that's how I am able to keep moving on. That's how I'm able to keep, doing everything that I always want to do, that my dreams and my passions and everything all together. It will feel so tiring. It will feel so hectic at one point, but I always encourage myself that that particular moment that I'm actually feeling discouraged is when I should train my mental status to keep moving.
Mm.
It's that particular moment that you have to keep moving, Like I'll give you an example of the way my military is, the way we exercise, the way, like I'm standing right here talking to you guys, but I'm telling you, I have a really bad shoulder pain. I have a really bad knee pain, but I don't let that define me by stopping me, Don't get me wrong. I work on it. It's not like I take pain medications, but, I do some activities that can actually strengthen my muscle to help me, to stabilize my knee and my shoulder and all that. But you cannot see that in my face. You know what I mean? So I'm not letting that define me. I still keep moving forward and, just do everything that If it's 10 things you want to do, as long as you do it in this life and you create your legacy and you keep moving, you keep changing people's lives, I think, we'll achieve that dream eventually. So pretty much, that's what I have. I mean, that was a question. I hope that that's the question you need, answer you needed. Okay.
Yeah. I had planned to talk about so many things because I brought in single ladies here. I was trying to talk about their relationship lives and all that stuff. But
oh, okay.
But yeah, I think this whole discussion took another toll. So
no, well, if it's that, I can give it for me. I can give 2 minutes brief if
okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So because I don't want us to go out of the box, out of what you want on this platform. Okay. So you say the question is about our relationship life.
Yeah, I was trying to get into that, but the time, so I was just God took another turn with this whole conversation.
Oh,
that's fine.
Okay. Well, because that was what you asked me, so that's why I was answering that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you needed on a relationship tour, like as a single lady.
Yeah. How in terms of everybody looks forward to something bigger in terms of changing status from being single to getting into the relationships and stuff.
Right.
But how do you navigate that journey, in the sense that I'll listen to some single men and ladies where, I'm worried that I'm this and that, and I've not gotten to do this because others are doing this, because time is against me or whatever. Right? So how do you navigate that process? Through your looking at yourself, presenting it to God, and living like a normal person. How do you do that?
Well, this is how I see my own self, okay? Yeah. I don't know the particular verse in the Bible, but there is this particular verse in the Bible that says, if you cannot, I have to use this language. I'm not going to say the exact dirty language, but the Bible says, if you cannot hold yourself, that there is a particular way, it was being written in the Bible, but I'm just recapping mine. You understand? I'm just reversing mine.
Paraphrase.
So if you can, right, exactly. So if you cannot hold your body, okay, everybody knows what I'm saying. If you cannot hold your body, that's when you actually need to be married. I'm not wrong. It's in the Bible. I might not know the particular place that it's in the Bible, but if you cannot hold your body, you need a man. If you cannot hold your body, you need a woman. Okay? So in this case, for me, I'm talking about my own personal thing. Okay? Yeah. For me, and I'll be honest about it. I'll expose that. I am able to hold my body. Okay? Everybody is different. Every single lady, we are all different. At one point, some ladies, we need a man, we need a woman, or, however that is. But I look at it in that way that if I can do without that, I don't have to really, really stress myself about relationship, and because I won't lie, you can only sustain everything that you do. The way I'm doing 10 things at the same time, I can only sustain that if I have a compatible man, if I have a good man with me, if I have someone that would understand me. And it's very, very, that's what people say these days. Oh, you have to find a man that understands you, a woman that understands you. It's not that easy. It's not that easy because, first of all, if you don't even live with that man for 3 good months, before you actually decide that you want to be married to that person, you will be fooling yourself. I've been in a situation whereby you you didn't know this man was actually married with another kid somewhere. You can imagine that. So, so you not living, actually cutting with that person for maybe 2-3 months. That's the problem. And then you get to now see that, oh, this person is not meant for me. Oh my God, and it's too late. So me as a single person, like the way you're answering asking the question and, trying to like put that into what I do and all that, I feel like on my own perspective, I'm able to do without it. It's good to have a relationship and, like the way everybody does, and you have someone talking to, a companion and all that. But in reality, you don't have to be married you don't have to be married if you can do without, it's the thing of the mind, it's the thing of the mind. But it's definitely good to have someone by you. I'm not saying this, I'm not discouraging all the single ladies on here. It's good to have a companion and all that, but get the one that can actually understand and support your dream. It's very hard to find, but but that's me. If that's the reason why it's been really hard for me as a personal, personal thing. Like, it's been really hard for me to actually find someone that would really, really want to go everywhere with me, understand what I do, support my vision, and support my dreams, and not knowing that I want to change people's lives too. You know what I mean? So, bringing that into my own, my journey and every little bit that I do here and there, trust me, it's been tough. It's been tough, but but like I said, what God has said in the Bible, if you can do, because the purpose of that too, really, is to act. I mean, when it comes to this thing that we're talking about, you know what I mean? That's important. You want to have kids. Before you have kids, you have to do something. Before you have kids, there has to be something you guys will do before you have kids. So, but if you could do without all of that, and I mean, well, kids are important too. So, but as that's my own personal thing, and I'm not discouraging everybody yet. So everybody still needs to share their own opinion too. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Tochukwu should be on the plane now, traveling. So I won't bother Tochukwu. So
okay.
Yeah, Tochukwu is actually flying now down to the East Coast. So yeah, I won't say any final words, ladies, in relation to what just concluding on what Miracle said.
Anybody? Yeah, I need another single lady to share their own opinion. This is a nice topic, right?
Any final words? Okay. Naomi, you want to say something?
Oh, I was just about to unmute myself. Here I go. Miracle. Thank you for sharing that. And what I appreciate about what you said was it was visible, your commitment to the path that you're doing. And that's beautiful, because so many of us, like, let me say us, so it doesn't sound like I'm judging anybody out there, but so many of us sometimes, when we are on that road of being found or finding somebody, sometimes we think that we have to be something that we're not in order to attract. But I love how committed you are to who you are, because you're like, well, if it's to settle, then I'd rather be by myself, because, I know better. And I think that is crucial. The minute that we understand that we are whole by ourselves, that's when God is like, okay, you're ready. An example is with Adam. God created Adam first. He gave him a purpose, had a job to name all the animals, do all these things. And Adam didn't know he needed Eve until God said, it is not good for men to be alone. Adam was fine. But just like with creation, the minute that God speaks, things happen. So when God said, let there be light, there was light. The plants, everything was there. But the minute he said, it's not good for men to be alone, Adam was like, wait a minute, I think I need somebody in my life. And then he started to feel lonely. So for us as well, you know, and you said that companionship is much bigger than having kids and just, you know, whatever else, people, stability in different ways, is that companionship. Because to be an island, we're either, there's this quote, I don't know if I'm saying it right in English, but no one is an island. To be alone as humans, you're either a beast or a god. So if you're a god or a beast, you could be alone. But as us, as humanity, we need community to thrive and survive. So another aspect of it as well, you know, in finding yourself first before you are found, or before you find somebody, is what you were saying that Paul said in the Bible, you know, for the nature of what you want to do in life. And sometimes, not me not say sometimes, whenever God put somebody in your life, it will align with what you have to do. So you were saying you need somebody who needs to support your vision, somebody who will understand you. And, you know, to be understood is to understand, and to understand is to be understood as well. So in the level, expect, you know, with the same measure, the Bible talks about this, with the same measure that you judge, or the same measure that you act, you will also be expected to act. So in the same level, there's somebody out there too. You know, there's a man out there saying, God, you know, I'd rather be alone if I don't find my miracle. Somebody who's going to understand me, somebody who's going to walk with me. So you're right. But maybe, you know, for whatever reason, you're just walking to each other. And I have a quick story here. My sister, she's married now. And it's so, I don't know if I say funny, crazy, interesting, but providential. That's the word. Providential, the way her and her future and her husband, I say future husband because that's what I'm used to say for me, but her and her current, her present, her husband for life, I pray, amen. Her and her husband met each other. She was just at an airport, you know, kind of like our friend over here is. I don't know if he's gonna encounter his future wife right now, but she was just at an airport reading a book. All of a sudden, this man shows up and starts talking to her. And guess what? They go to this, not the same church, because she was coming from Argentina, he was coming from Alaska, and she's from Cape Verde, so he's from the United States, all different, you know, how in the world are they just meeting in Argentina? Neither of them is from Argentina. My sister was studying there. I think his connection flight connected him to Argentina. But bottom line is they connected there, you know, on the go, airports. They go to the same, they have the same beliefs per se. And their values and morals align. It's like, what are the chances, you know, of finding somebody like that just in passing in the airport? He ends up missing his flight. So there's a whole story there. But bottom line, now they're married. And, you know, that all that to say, you know, it may seem that your request is a little bit crazy, like, God, no way I'm going to find somebody who's going to understand me, support me, all of that. No, God created you. So if he had the ability of creating you, guess what? He also has the ability of providing somebody who is just at that same level. So yes, don't settle for anybody who won't understand, because the world expects you to just be married at a certain point. So it's like, okay, I don't see the one, I'm just going to marry anyone. No. God has the one for you, and in the right time. And sometimes the one for you is your purpose. So embrace that and, you know, work on that. And if God wants to bring somebody into your life who will help enhance you as your purpose, it will align, sister. Don't you have to worry. It won't be, you guys have two different purposes. Right. Yeah, it will be something walking together, helping people, and doing ministry together, your music, whatever it is that you want to do, it will align. For sure. So that's my take on it.
No, thank you. That's encouraging. No, thank you. That's encouraging. I needed to hear that. My day is blessed.
Yes, praise God. Come on now.
Thank you. Always comes through. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Casey, you want to say something?
I'll just align with Pastor Naomi.
Okay.
I know, right? No, that's the
blessing. Yeah. So it's for me just a combination of both. And I told someone even today, I said, okay, we're talking about. I told the person that there is someone I know who is 55 and she's unmarried, and he says that's an aberration. I said no. I said it's not an aberration to me that she's not married at 55. There are so many reasons why someone will be single at 55. Maybe she has a health condition. Maybe she has somebody who left her. She's trying to get over it, and it's not her fault that she's yet to get over it. Maybe she's had these heartbreaks back to back, and she's like, you know what, I'm done. Or maybe she's saying, hey, marriage is not a passport to heaven. So I might as well just fulfill purpose and, move on.
Thank you.
So to you, it's an aberration, but to someone else, no, it's not. And I also have a boss who got married at 50. And the person she got married to has never been married, and she has never been married, and she's happy. If her parents at that time, she actually adopted a child, she had already lost hope. Yes, she actually adopted a child. The girl was 5, and then she was getting married, So I believe that I will spend more time being married than I'm single. Yeah. And I also told him, if it turns out that, I wake up tomorrow, Casey 40, you never marry, permit me to go into pidgin English. I'll just say, okay, well, might as well make money while we're at it. Yeah. I cannot not be fulfilled. I'm not married. I'm not feeling purpose. You're not doing. In Igbo land, there is this adage that says, you cannot be poor and be a witch. It's like double tragedy. Yeah. So just pick a struggle. So while you're there single, just make sure you're whole, make sure you're happy, make sure you glow. You glow so well that people will say, this man in your life is trying, he's doing well. But it is you know who the man in your life is. Yeah. And then it's so amazing that when the man in your life comes, he sees you're glowing. God cannot be mocked. You can't be doing all of this by yourself and there'll be someone who will just come and dull your shine. God forbid. Yeah. So it's just while we're at it, or we're trying to fulfill purpose, while we are, trusting God and finding wholeness. Yeah. We just keep praying and trusting God. I think that's it. So I'm just aligned with mine is a summary of both of you. And it's really been amazing. I tell you, it's been an amazing. I'm so happy I'm here. I'm so happy I've heard all I have heard. And I thank you all so much for sharing. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that too.
Yeah, thank you so much. Buki. Oh, Buki.
Well, let me join the alignment and let me join the key thing, joining the line. You're not married, like she said, it's not a passport to heaven. I've heard times without number, when are you getting married, and I keep replying, if I get married now, is it a passport to heaven, or can I take my marriage certificate to the bank and say, I'm married now and I need certain loan, can I have it? So for the fact that somebody is not married, what exactly are we doing, or are you doing before you get married? And what's her name? The last speaker, sorry. She just said something now. If you are not married yet, please, you cannot be a witch and also be living in poverty. Choose one. So be making money. I'm not married yet, but I'm trying to make money.
Yeah.
That's my own.
Mommy, God bless you for saying that.
Please, I'm not married yet. Please make money.
Make money. Thank you.
Make money and fulfill purpose.
Make money. Improve on yourself, improve on your skills, get more knowledge, expand yourself, travel to wherever you want to travel to, flex around, go anywhere you want to go, but just be in alignment with the will of God. That's my own. Just be in alignment with the will of God. Don't go away from the will of God. Don't go away from the purpose of God. Naomi said, Adam was alone. It was when God it was when God spoke that he realized that he was lonely. As at now, I have not realized I am lonely. So I could still as well, keep enjoying myself, flexing myself the best way I can, and trying to find somebody that would understand my passion in alignment with the will of God. I'm into charity organization. I can as well be at peace with myself and let God do the finding. Yes, we've had pastors, we've had messages whereby they says be specific with what you want. Write the things that you want, state the things that you want. Okay, then you see people writing out lists that are ambiguous. You just see them writing things out of the moon, writing things that are still not in alignment with the will of God. My own thing as a single, let it be in alignment with the will of God. The key thing there, make money also. In alignment with the will of God. Stay focused on what you are doing. Pursue your dream, pursue your purpose. If you are single part-time, you can wake up tomorrow and feel the urge of getting married. Ask God for his direction. Ask God for what he wants you to do at that particular point in time. What is the next step that you want me to do? God, I am asking you now. What do you want me to do now? Am I supposed to start thinking of marriage now? Or I'm supposed to start thinking of something else? Or what exactly it is that you want me to do part-time? There's an activity under the sun part-time. A time to sleep, a time to wake up, a time to mourn, a time to cry, a time to laugh, a time to do plenty things.
And a
So
time to marry.
as at this moment, if it is a time for you to be single, please be single. I'm not saying you should cast away. I'm not saying you should cast away the purpose of getting married. And the general scripture we all know, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Please do not deny somebody else of his or her favor. The Bible says he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from God. So don't deny somebody else his favor by getting married to you. So when the time comes, when the opportunity comes, there's no need to rush it. There's no need to be aggressive about it. Just be at peace with yourself.
Yeah. That's Jesus.
Of course.
Just be at peace with yourself. Just stay calm. And when the person comes, just still ask God, is this who you want me to be with? He says his ways are not my ways. His thoughts are not my thoughts. The way his thought is, the way the sky is, the heavens are far away from the earth, so are my thoughts far away from your thoughts. So you need to know the thoughts of God for you part-time. So if this time the thought of God is be single and make money, please be single and make money. If by tomorrow he says, if by tomorrow, if by tomorrow he wakes you up and say, okay, you need to get married and move to this place, it is part-time. He speaks to you part-time. He speaks to you per minute. So the most thing is, anything you do, anything you are doing, wherever you are, just be in alignment with the will, the plan, and purpose of God. That's just it.
Amen. Amen. We having church today. We having church.
Yes, we having fun.
I love it.
Yep. You guys are a blessing. Oh my goodness. That was good. Make money. Make money.
Come on now. That should be our slogan. Be single and make money. Until.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
I remember Buki when doing the fellowship. Yeah, the same energy, the same fire. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's good listening to her though. I would have loved to ask Tochukwu, but Tochukwu is fine now. So yeah, Buki, I would say what you said. Basically, it's about focusing on God's will, focusing on purpose, and let go of the noise. The noise. There's too much noise by the side as young people. So many noise by the side that would make you deviate or want to do what is new normal. If I can put it, there's a new normal where you understand young people do a lot just because they want certain things. Sometimes you have to drive it because they want to get certain things instead of allowing the will of God to take its course. So I understand it from everyone, and I really do appreciate your time today. It was wonderful listening to bright minds like you. Hence the reason why it was organized the way it was organized, because I didn't have any personal arrangement here. It was just based on how it happened, and it happened. I mean, everybody's here today. So yeah. Oh, Tochukwu is actually flying. So Tochukwu,
I'm blessed.
Yeah, nobody knows.
yeah. You want to say your final words before in terms of what the ladies have said?
So I would say,
Yeah, so we
I
need
want to
men's
thank you.
contribution too.
Okay. Sorry, hold on. Can I just?
Okay. Hold on. So yeah, so it's important to always align purpose with your purpose with God's. Instead of trying to pursue your own personal plan, which is what human beings as normal would do. But aligning yourself with God's purpose would actually take you to the right path. I was listening to one of my sister preach yesterday. I was invited to a fellowship yesterday. So she was saying that God's time is always the best. There's no delay in God's own time. No matter when it happens, you understand, it's actually the right time.
Yeah.
So it's only humans that will always think that, oh, because it's not happening, then yeah. It doesn't mean that's not what it is. It's always nice and right. Always wait for God to do what He has to do. So yeah, yeah, that's what it is. Tochukwu, I don't know if I should say my own perspective for life though, but Tochukwu, if you're there, if you want to say anything, that's fine though. But for my own way, the way I see life is like a journey, right? Where every step determines the next. It's like you have to take the first step for the other things to happen, right? If let's say you want to go into a relationship, you take the first step, you see a woman, you like a woman, you pray about it. Or sometimes you don't even have the time to pray about it. You see a woman there and you like her, you just walk up to her and yeah. You can't just see a woman and you say, God, please, is this a woman for me? So you now walk up to that woman. It doesn't work like that, right? You just see the woman and you just walk up to her because you like her, right? With men, we deal with what we see physically. Maybe the woman is this, that, you understand? You just see a woman and you like her and you just go for her. You say hi to her or whatever, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, just like Naomi's sister and the guy and that connecting fight in Argentina, you just keep talking. In some cases, it doesn't happen like that. In some cases, you just have to be friends for a while. Then the next phase happens. In some cases, you won't even ask anybody out, and it just happens like that. Understand? The thing is, try not to force it, right? Try not to make it go your own way because you feel, I mean, the guy is nice, the woman is good looking, then, I mean, it should work. It's a no-brainer. But you pursue life in the sense that just allow God walk it through, right? There's this thing we used to say in Nigeria, sharp guy, right? And Naomi, yeah, sharp guy means when you're smart. You see something and you just go and, as men, we're hunters. We just go and we kill what we want to kill and we move on. You understand? That's when we were in the world, you understand? That's what used to happen. But now that we've crossed over to where we are now, right? We have to take a, Casey is just laughing. I don't know why she's always laughing when I say these things. But the thing is, maybe because she knows me very much, I don't know. But basically, what it is life is, oh, I don't know what to say anymore. I'm confused. What life is.
You're good. Keep going.
Yeah. So life is, I don't know. I should never have invited Casey here.
I don't know what you're talking about. So it's the same way every other person is smiling. Don't take mine personal. Yeah.
So, but basically, that's what it is. So, men, they focus on what they see, right? The woman is beautiful. She's dressed nice. She talks smart. Because some men also like the kind of woman that challenges their intellect. Why some men like what they see in terms of the physique, right? It's a two-way thing, right? And that's how you keep a man. If it's just based on the way the woman looks, it's going to be a temporary relationship. But if it's going to be based on the fact that the woman challenges your thinking, then it's going to be, you understand, a long-lasting relationship. I'm not bringing God into this yet, but I'm just saying on a human level, right? We have to put our perspective right? There are certain things we need to put in order. So you see a woman, you like the fact that she's wearing a skimpy dress, she's all looking good and nice. Your first attraction will be, oh, this, that, and that, and that, right? Just go in and go out. But when you see a woman that is also dressed that way, you speak to her and she challenges your thinking, then you will stay. Probably in the process, your thought process might change from what you're looking at to the fact that, oh, I think I'm going to talk to her tomorrow, right? So it all depends on what you see and what challenges your thinking. Then now the God factor is when you go home and you sit down and you certify. I had a good discussion with this lady, right? You understand? And God, what do you think? Because I'm liking her now, because you understand. What do you think I should do from here on? And just allow God, you understand? Take the mantle from there and just direct you on how to go about it, right? And I always say there's no good or bad men or women out there, you understand? It's just certain things that just bring out the worst in people, right? It's always nice to accommodate people and just grow with them, not trying to put expectations because of who they are and what they look like or stuff like that. You always have to. It's like watering a plant, right? You just have to take on with the process gradually, right, until it gets to where it needs to get to. If God says yes, then fine. If God says no, move on. Yeah, that's it.
Well, what you said you've not added God to it, but what the few points you mentioned is in quote and is a bit biblical. The first one you said men are attracted by what they see. We can as well use Adam when he saw him. It was the sin that made him shout, "Now, this is now indeed the bone of my bone and the flesh of my flesh." So we can say probably that's where men got the sight from, the ability to see from. And then you also mentioned that some men want when a female can intellectually challenge them. You can as well go ahead and use David and was her name when David, the wife of Nabal, Abigail, who spoke, the husband was foolish, but Abigail was a bit more intellectual. So anyone that I think the other one, you mentioned the third one, I can't remember. The thing just skipped my head now. So I think any which one works for any man. If he can find it in the Bible, then it can work well for either the male or for the female. That's my opinion.
I have a comment too. It's interesting how you said there's no right or wrong people. And I actually thought this was the route you were going. But then you said, certain things in life bring the worst or the best in people. But I actually would say, sometimes we pray God for something. When he answers our prayers, I think his flights just took off.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
There we go. And sometimes when God answers our prayers, we get mad. It's like, God, show me who my real friends are. And then certain people start acting funny. And then you're like, God, like this person, God is like, isn't that what you asked? Like, you asked me to show you, I'm showing you. So in the same way, sometimes you find this perfect person. And then when you try to make it work out, it doesn't work out. And then you're thinking, what's the problem? There's no problem. It's just not your person. So it's not that.
What you said the table is better already.
Okay, I think she doesn't know she's sweet. But I don't understand anyways. It's just like,
don't worry about it.
But the thing is, it's not that it's not that they are wrong people. It's just they're wrong for you. They're not, let me not say they're wrong for you. That sounds a little, they're
Yeah.
not right for you. They're right for somebody else. So it's kind of like somebody else's treasure. So for me, it's like, God, I don't know, this is a wonderful being. And sometimes that explains a lot, actually, how sometimes we be seeing wonderful, like these wonderful women out here. I'm like, how are you guys still single? Because let's just like, yeah, here I am. How are you guys still single? But you know, that goes a lot to say that it's not that you guys are wrong people. It's just that you have not found your right person. It's like, and people be getting so frustrated sometimes because it's like, man, how could that go wrong? You find two perfect people and they're trying to do matchmaking and it doesn't work because, yes, perfect people, but perfectly not for each other, if that makes sense. So, trusting God in the process that what He says is right. It's not what you see or what you believe to be right.
That's very true. Casey, you want any concluding statement, Casey?
I'm just very honored and very grateful to be in this session with such sound-minded people.
Yeah.
That's all.
Very
That's
sound.
all. That's
Thank
all.
God.
I thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I wish
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. I wish I could listen
Thank
to like, yeah, I've gone I promised something in terms of timing to Casey, but I mean I've gone overboard. Right.
No regrets at all.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so excited. I'm grateful.
Yeah, it's wonderful listening to everyone.
Thank
Really
you.
wonderful. I would have loved to listen to Tochukwu's part of the conversation, but I mean he took off. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So yeah. So everyone will be going off live, but we'll be staying on so that we can have our partner. But we're going off live. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. It's been wonderful. This is episode 5 of the Tea Experience. It's been wonderful having Kelechi Awuzie, Miracle, Naomy Rodrigues, and Adesanwo. So yeah. So thank you, guys. Thank you.